This is Lon Winters with Graphic Elephants.
Dave Garrick with Atlas Screen Supply.
This is David Gross with Condi Systems.
Jimmy Lamb with Sawgrass.
And you are listening to the Two Regular Guys
podcast.
Hosted by Aaron Montgomery
and Terry Combs.
Well, for those of you who don't know, my name is Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me over at aaronmontgomery.info. Today, we're going to be talking with Joyce Jagger, the Embroidery Coach. So I'm excited about this, and I'm also excited about having you along for the ride, Erich, because when anybody asks me anything about embroidery, I normally point to either Joyce or you. So I can actually probably just go away and let you guys talk. But no, we're going to have a great time talking with Joyce today and talking about a lot of good stuff about the business startup and how to set up that embroidery business. You know, not so much threads and needles today, but really about the business structure. So this is an area to me that I am passionate about. So I can't wait for this conversation today. But let's easy for me to say. Let's get a couple of news items out of the way here first, Erich.
Well, first of all, before we start talking about news items, I just want to say that we want to send out our thoughts and prayers to the folks who are being affected or in the path of Hurricane Florence. Made the landfall near Wrightsville, North Carolina this morning. From what we've read, it's been real dangerous. Storm surge is yet to come. Take care of yourselves out there, everybody. Just absolutely. I've seen people preparing their shops for it, and it's heartbreaking knowing something's coming that you can't change. But we're with you, and we really hope for the best.
Yep, I agree. I just wanted to jump in there, Erich, and put my thoughts on that too. Thank you so much for bringing that up. And we're thinking about you guys. I think we had somebody in the comments before we even got the show started. Kirk had mentioned, hope the hurricane doesn't impact us during this live stream. So it will be recorded. So no worries. Come back and check it out when you're back on solid ground, so to speak. But what else, Erich? What else have you seen?
Well, let's go ahead and get into news about Amazon. Everybody knows about Amazon and what they're getting into. So
Skynet, as Terry calls them.
Yes, Terry calls them Skynet. This is true. It's a Terminator reference if you don't get it. For those of you who are young enough or unaware, we're old. This isn't just for show. That's real gray there, folks. Anyway, Amazon's B2B marketplace could surpass $10 billion. Amazon appears to be rapidly expanding its presence and influence in the estimated $9 trillion U.S. online business-to-business market. The Seattle-based e-commerce company announced this week that Amazon Business, its web-based marketplace for B2B selling, is on track to generate sales more than $10 billion on an annualized basis over 12 months. Should the rate of sales recorded between June and August continue at its current pace.
Wow.
So,
that's a big number. That's a B number, not a million. That's a B number. I think that's interesting for us because of how it impacts potentially the promotional products world. That this article actually came from ASI here that we'll post on the website. And I know people are trying to understand where Amazon's going to fit into that on the promotional product side. So, I think it affects us all across the board. We have to understand what's going on there. But definitely, if you're heavy into promo products, just understand how to work with Amazon, not against them, because I don't think anybody's able to work against them very successfully.
Well, and certainly to remember what your market can do that's not what Amazon can do. Absolutely, we've all had that feeling where, okay, Amazon's buying a fleet of printers and it freaks us out. But we have to realize that we're not Amazon, but Amazon's also not us.
Yeah, definitely. Julie mentioned she's listening but not seeing anything yet. So, Julie, if you're hearing this, maybe give it a refresh because everything seems to be working on this end. If anybody else has comment on that, let us know. But we want to make sure that here we go. Gwen says, watching hurricane wind and rain. So, Gwen, be safe over there.
Take care.
Yep, definitely. All right, Erich, news item that I wanted to share with folks. People know I'm a big fan of Insta heat presses, Insta Graphic Systems, and Graphics One have signed a distribution agreement. Insta Graphic Systems is located in Cerritos, California, and Graphics One is located in Sunnyvale, California. So they're neighbors there, and they have inked a distribution agreement encompassing the distribution of Insta Graphic lines of heat presses effective September 1st. So this agreement covers certain vertical market segments where Graphics One is heavily involved, including the toner transfer business and sublimation area. So should be interesting. You'll get to see more. Graphics One has kind of always been known for their imported heat presses and things like that. So we'll see what happens with a partnership with a US-based company in Insta. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Insta presses myself. So could be interesting.
Well, and don't we always say the quality of that press is really important, folks? So it's good to see that we have people looking into the quality presses.
Yeah. We can get up on our soapbox right now and talk about presses if you want, Eric.
Absolutely not. Probably not a good idea. We're going into embroidery, though. That is one of the things I always say, folks. You're an embroiderer. It's a good first way to start expanding.
Yeah, exactly.
Press, man.
A couple more people checking in here. We got Christine Shreve from Enmart checking in. She's
Morning,
been
Christine.
able to be pretty regular with us, so we love having her along for the ride. And I got some other, just popping a few hellos and things up there. Kay McFarland says, hello from one of Joyce's team. Prayers are with all in the line of the storm. So appreciate everybody's thoughts. I think good thoughts can help. So keep those good thoughts coming. Eric, I do want to remind everybody to stay tuned to the end of the show for It's 5 Things. I'm going to talk about the benefits of running a customer-centric business. So another passion project for me. So I'm looking forward to sharing that.
Absolutely. And honestly, that's something we're talking about, that Amazon competition, customer-centric business. That's how you compete, folks. Well, in any case, I want to go ahead and thank everyone for listening. We are pleased to bring you this weekly show since February 2013. This is our 6th season. We always try to avoid rants, lecturing, or selling, but we would love for you to visit our webpage at 2, that's the number 2, regularguys.com. See, I am playing Terry today.
You are. You've heard this before.
Absolutely. You can check out our show notes for previous podcasts with lots of great links and additional information. And we're always looking for suggestions for future shows. And you can do that through our Contact Us page or through our social media outlets at 2regularguys.com. Once again, the number 2, regularguys.com. If you're catching live video via Facebook Live, we'd love to hear your comments, insights, questions, suggestions, and during the topic of today's show, jump on in, ask questions, say what you want to say. We don't get everybody on, but we do love having you interact with us live.
Absolutely. In fact, speaking of all the interactions with us live here, I'm popping a few on the screen. We've got Debbie joining us from Texas. We've got Sue, a loyal Joyce fan. So looks like the Joyce fans are out in force, which is awesome. We can't wait to bring her up here in just a second. Hello from another one of Joyce's peeps in Texas. So we got Joyce team here. Eric, I think we may just need to turn the whole thing over to Joyce and walk away. This is perfect. Awesome. But,
well, we do know she's got a lot of fans.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's for good reason. So, so Eric, those folks that are watching and live on Facebook right now, we use a software called Be Live TV, and unfortunately, we only see the comments that pop up if you're commenting on the version that's in our page at facebook.com/2regularguys. So if you're watching this through something that somebody shared or something like that, there's a chance that we won't see your comments. So if you're commenting questions, stuff like that, and we're not responding, just may want to pop over to facebook.com/2regularguys and do that.
Absolutely. But now, without any further ado, we need to hear a word from SGIA about their upcoming expo.
Hi, this is SGIA's Dan Marks, inviting you to attend the Sgi Expo in Las Vegas this October. We're going to show you what's on the horizon, with more than 500 exhibitors showing the latest in dye sub, screen, embroidery, DTG, and more. We have 72 educational sessions, including a garment decoration track, and a special luncheon just for garment decorators. Registration is free through September 19th. Learn more at sgia.org/expo2rg.
All right. Well, make sure you get over to, again, as Dan said, sgia.org/expo2rg, and make sure you get registered for the expo. It's free until next Wednesday, the 19th, he mentioned. And then one other note, while you're registering, just make sure you buy your tickets to the Garment Decorator Luncheon. I don't really need to explain it, but I think I will, just for the heck of it. So there's a limited number of seats, and to me, it's the best $30 you could ever spend. I went last year, and the networking was second to none. And this year, the speaker is Ricardo Crespo. Eric and I are both familiar with him from ThreadX last year, and he's an amazing, inspiring guy. He's a former creative chief for 20th Century Fox, as well as Mattel Toy Company. So you just don't want to miss that luncheon. So just buy your tickets when you're registering for the expo.
Well, and speaking of ThreadX and Ricardo, Ricardo's back to be one of the keynote speakers at this upcoming ThreadX 19, happening February 17th through 19th, 2019 in San Diego, California. Speaker list this year is amazing. If you missed 2018, you don't want to miss 2019. We're going to be road tripping again this year from Phoenix, so we're going to check out speakers like Ricardo, of course, Benny Gold, he's a San Francisco-based streetwear brand and boutique, and keynote speaker Aaron Draplin. He's a design wizard. Now, I've followed Aaron Draplin for a long time, so you absolutely want to get out and see Aaron. He's got an energy that you can't really match. He's a very different dude. So Aaron Draplin, if you haven't seen his stuff, the thick line design, he does really cool stuff and he gets it. So get out there, see Aaron. If you register early enough, you can even sign up for a hands-on workshop with him. And we can't wait. I know I can't wait to see that. And we hope to see you all there.
Yeah. Decorators and Cars with Cookies, Eric. It's going to be awesome again. And this whole
absolutely
ThreadX. I think we all kind of thought that, ThreadX 18 was amazing. Based on what I'm seeing so far, I'm actually like more excited for 19 here. I was worried that 18 might be like Woodstock, but no, I think 19 is going to be even better. So,
well, honestly, seeing that list, and I know I kind of gushed over Aaron Draplin, but really, if you like kind of classic design, then you got to love it, what Aaron Draplin's doing. So I'm excited to see him most of all. Now that's me cheating. I'm not trying to play favorites here, folks. That's somebody I really.
His name's Aaron. He's awesome. Come on.
All the Aarons are good,
Yeah, nice. All right, Eric. Well, should we finally get to it here? I think we've got a huge group of Joyce fans primed. We've even got somebody from France here joining us. I haven't caught everybody that said hello, but check out in the comments there. And we've got some new listeners coming from Joyce. Sandy said that she's glad to hear about the podcast. So let's do this, Eric. What do you think?
Absolutely. Let's get into it. So by way of doing so, let's introduce Joyce Jagger. Joyce Jagger, the Embroidery Coach, is well recognized in the area of embroidery business education. She passes along her 40 years of experience and knowledge to her students, offering online training, webinars, workshops, as well as personal coaching on and offline. By simplifying the business of embroidery into easy-to-understand lessons, Joyce gets the new embroiderer off to a fast start and helps the current embroiderer improve their skills so they can provide higher quality embroidery and increase their profits. Joyce gives the direction, the right systems, approach, and tools an embroiderer needs to succeed. By adding the Rapid Start Embroidery Coach Training Center, Joyce has been able to offer hands-on training in a controlled atmosphere that is conducive to quality work and embroidery business success. Joyce enthusiastically helps all embroiderers at all levels, from the person starting out of their home to large corporations, well-known designers and fulfillment houses, to everyone in between. That is a heck of a bio and well-deserved. We're happy to see you on, Joyce.
Thank you so much. I feel so honored to be on this podcast today.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you coming, and we appreciate you bringing a crew here with you. This is an awesome show, and so we're going to look for them to also bring us some good questions and stuff like that. But let's dive right into this, Joyce. Let's just talk about this business structure here. How should a new embroiderer set up their business structure?
Well, now I'm not talking, when I start talking here, I'm not talking about a business entity that they're setting up. I'm talking about the organization and process of getting their business started. So they are setting themselves up for success right from the very beginning. If they want to talk about the type of business entity, they need to sit down with their accountant and figure that one out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, when you're first starting out, you need to keep it simple. Now, before you can set up a business structure, you need to know how to embroider, what types of products or services you're going to offer, and what market you want to serve. Now, make sure that you have practice to increase your skill level before you offer your products to friends and family, before you ever even start to create a business. If you do not have high quality embroidery to offer, you're just going to be another embroiderer down the street that's going to have to compete with everyone else. And that is not what you want. And that's not what I teach. I teach my students to produce only top quality embroidery, the kind that can command a higher price. Now, first I'm going to go over a list of things that you need to do, and then I'll let you know how you can get a checklist in order to keep it simple. Now, this is a business that requires a lot of commitment. So the very first thing that you must do is get clear on why you want to start in the first place. Do you love monogramming or making gifts? Maybe you love embroidery and just want to start a business. Maybe you're a screen printer and you want to add embroidery to your business. What is really driving you to do this? You need to have specific goals for your business, and you need to develop the habit of weekly and daily planning. Now, this is something that most people do not do with their business. They just jump in and run by the seat of their pants, so to speak. They decide that they are going to start a business because they like to embroider, and before they know it, they have no idea what's involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another thing, you need to have a name for your business that tells everyone what your business is all about. A simple name, not a cutesy name. A cutesy name will make it hard to attract the corporate world. Selecting the right name or changing your business name is very important. Now, when I'm working with embroiderers that come to me to up-level their business, we often suggest that they start out by changing their name. Sometimes we get opposition because they've been in business for quite a while. But in the end, they usually realize that we are correct. You need to decide on what areas of service that you plan to offer in your business and concentrate on one at a time. Now, this is extremely important. Many people start right out trying to cover all areas of the decorating apparel business, and they soon find out that they cannot really do anything great because they're pulled in too many different directions. You've got to concentrate on one area at a time and fully develop that until you are producing a top quality product. Train someone else to take it over, or at least to help you with it, before you even think of how to learn to offer another service. You need to write up the processes for that area so that it's easy to train the next person on it, and everyone gets trained the same. You need to keep your processes as simple as possible, always striving to find easier ways of doing the same job, ways that's going to save you time and produce a better product or a result, or both. You've got to create a good paperwork and a production flow to save time and steps. You've got to create sales tools to make it easy as you are working with your clients. That's going to save you time. Now, most new embroiderers are a one-person business, and they need to save as much time in absolutely every step that they take. Next, you need to create a pricing structure that's going to make you money. This is a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need to set up your accounting system, which I always recommend QuickBooks, and then start marketing your business. Now, I know that sounds like, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, just trying to jump in and say, it sounds like you really have a lot of this focused on process. And I think that you absolutely have the right idea, because a lot of people who come into this, they come in on the creative side, they don't think about this process stuff that you're teaching.
Absolutely. That's a fact. Now, and I know this sounds like a lot of stuff to do, but you need to begin right at the beginning. And how do you get started with all this? Well, I've created a checklist to help you get started in your business and be able to stay on track as you're getting it all set up. And all you have to do is go to howtostartanembroiderybusiness.com and pick that up.
Oh, that's really great. So as people are setting up this structure, what do you think the most important piece of that business structure is?
Getting organized and creating a good pricing structure. Absolutely.
So really, pricing, you think, is the thing that people fall forward on the most, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay. So Joyce, talk to us a little bit. We're kind of jumping around a hair here, but talk to us a little bit about when should a new embroiderer think about setting up their accounting system? I guess you mentioned QuickBooks in there. So talk to us about where that falls in the process.
After they create their pricing structure and they feel confident about their pricing, then I teach embroiderers and anyone that has a decorating apparel business how to set up their QuickBooks so that they can tell at any one time what area of their business is making money and which one is not. I have them divide up their QuickBooks all in the different areas of service that they are offering. And I teach them to add their pricing to QuickBooks to make it easy and even set up their orders so that as soon as the job is complete, they have their invoice done and sent to the customer. This saves a huge amount of time and brings in the cash much quicker. Cash flow is huge. It's a huge problem for most business owners of the decorating apparel businesses, I have found.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But what I'm always surprised by is that people are kind of unwilling sometimes to ask for the money that they're owed as a business. And it seems like because they come into it, once again, you're sewing, especially embroiderers, come into it sewing for friends, stitching things out for family, and they don't think of things as a business. They don't go to that place.
That's right.
So, folks, listen to Joyce here. Sales and accounting and invoicing are super important. They're as important as anything you're going to do with thread and a needle. So, absolutely, setting up your accounting system is the top thing you can do aside from being able to embroider at all. It's good to have that process in. So, as you start setting things up for folks, I mean, do you have like a particular approach that is specific for new embroiderers? Like, how do you work with new embroiderers the most?
When I first start with new embroiderers, I set up a phone call to see what their situation is. And I ask them if they purchased their machine and software yet, because many people come to me wanting to know what machine to buy. Now, and if we talk about the market that they want to serve, and then we talk about a particular kind and type of machine and software that they need. And then I get them started into my program, How to Start an Embroidery Business Online. And then once a month, I have a training that's open to all embroiderers. And to learn another aspect of the business, sometimes I carry, or sometimes I talk about techniques. Sometimes I talk about business areas. This coming month, our next one is October the 4th, and I'm going to be talking about how to create simple embroidery templates so that you can set up your basic designs quickly and easily.
Right. Yeah, automation, absolutely a big thing. People think that that's a dirty word. I know, especially digitizers like myself, you always have this idea that, okay, anything automatic is bad because you want to make sure that you have a place in the whole process. But things like templates, stuff like that, absolutely helps you to get set up, especially when you're going to be doing the same kind of market over and over again.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you have a lot of people, they put designs together, like Joe's Bar and Grill, and they'll put a stock design right in the middle of it. And you can create a template that will help you to set that up in seconds.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Huge.
And especially things like team sports or clubs, things where it's going to be pretty similar setups over and over again, where color is the thing. Color and a couple words are really what changes it.
That's a fact. And then I always suggest that they go into the embroidery basics and the embroidery techniques in my membership site, where I go over all the different types of items that are necessary for them to learn, the basics of how to embroider. And this includes the types of backings or stabilizers to use for the different types of fabrics or garments, what needles to use, how to hoop it properly, and even how to repair mistakes. And we all make them.
No, absolutely. There's two kinds of embroiderers out there. People who don't make mistakes, people who are lying, and the people who admit it. If you haven't stitched something together or you haven't had something where you had to tear out the stitches, then you're certainly somebody I haven't met yet.
So, Joyce, I love the fact that we're talking about this business structure as kind of the first piece. And I think that's really what stands out a lot to me is that you're talking to people and teaching people, hey, we got to get this stuff set up first. Let's not worry about all of these other pieces and stuff like that. So, we talked a little bit about the accounting system, and Erich mentioned we got to make sure that we get paid for the work that we do. Are there any other kind of things that people really need to be thinking about more before they really kind of dive into business?
Well, they've got to have a good, solid foundation of how to embroider. Number one. Number two, they've got to have a plan, some type of a business plan, even if it's a 1 or 2 page plan, just something to keep them on track. And they've got to have all of the right business tools in place. And if they don't, they're just lost. You've got to have your pricing structure in place. I mean, we've talked about that already, but I mean, that is just huge. And then your sales tools. I teach them how to create sales tools so that they can work with the customer very easy and quick, setting up templates to work with the customers, showing them how to create the right tools to work with, such as layout sheets and the fonts. Many of them want to show every font that they have. Well, that's the first mistake. And you only give them a few to select. If they want something different, that they're not happy with what you've given them, charge them more money for them, because you can create templates with all your basic fonts. So you can't do that. You can't create a template for every font you have. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
It's something that I can't agree with you more. Curation, making sure you curate the things that you present people. Every time I'm working with a new decorator, they have this tendency to, the first supplier they have with garments as well, they'll take that supplier's catalog and throw it in front of a customer open and just say, here you go. Here's all the garments. Here's all the fonts. Also for embroidery, we know, embroiderers know, printers might not know, we have a very select set of pre-digitized fonts that are for embroidery only. We don't have everything that you can get true type on anyone's machine. So absolutely curating that selection, presenting it is a big deal. So once again, I'm going to say it over and over. Listen to Joyce, folks. She knows what she's talking about. You absolutely want to curate your collection of what you present for people, because otherwise they just get paralyzed by trying to make the decision.
That is correct.
Yeah.
You also need to have a scheduling system in place to keep track of your production and to keep, get your orders out on time. You've got to have all your system in place running smoothly. That's all there is to it. Now, and if you're a business owner of any type of decorating apparel business, and you've been in business for a while and you're unsure of what tools that you need, go to embroiderybusinesstools.com. And I have a whole list of necessary embroidery business tools that you need to start with.
Cool. Oh, those great resources. Thank you for sharing those. Hey, Joyce, Marshall had a kind of a comment here, maybe a little bit of a question, but more of a comment problem. It's a big, long one, but I wanted to get your take and your feedback on this. So I'm going to read it here. Talk about how goal setting and thinking about the downside of our industry needs to be part of the conversation early. What happens when things go wrong, when roadblocks are hit, when they goof up 50 polos because of some mistake? Getting the conversation going about anticipating and trying to mitigate challenges early could really help. So Joyce, can you give us your take on that?
Well, the first place, you've got to have all your processes in place. I mean, that's number one. Yeah. If you don't have your processes in place, you're not training your people to do the job the way that you want it done, then anything can happen. But if you're all working on the same page, so to speak, and you can prevent those things from happening, you've got to have your systems in place in order to make it happen. That's
yeah. And I think that's really what you're talking about here. And what I've got from this is, if we're not prepared up front, we are going to run into those mistakes more often than we really need to. Yeah.
And the embroiderers are not prepared. Most people absolutely are not prepared at all.
Huh. Okay. All right. Well, we've got your link here, embroiderybusinesstools.com, as a great place to get prepared. Mm-hmm. Joyce, what else are we missing here? What have we not talked about with our business structure yet? Throwing curveballs at you, so I apologize.
Well, that's pretty much it. If you've got your plan in place, if you've got your pricing in place, if you have your accounting system set up, and like I said, that is so huge. Yeah. And I work with embroiderers to help them get their accounting system set up that have been embroiderers for 15, 20 years, and they've never done this. Wow. They pull their pricing out of their head as a customer is standing there in front of them. They don't have any type of system to quote a design. I teach them how to quote a design while they're standing in front of the customer in a couple of minutes. And it's so easy to do once you've got your systems in place. Huge.
So do you think it's really the uniformity that people have trouble with? They just kind of do things off the cuff. They don't have it as a systematized setup.
They have no idea what to do. They've never had any training in it.
Mhm.
And they think they can go out on the internet and find all of the information for free. And it doesn't work that way. And I have run into the deal with so many home embroiderers that have been in business for 6 months and they've got all the answers. And people seem to, and they post all these things online, and so much of it is contradicting. And that's what they go with. They don't know.
Well, I think sometimes that's the thing, is they don't have a strong kind of leadership voice to tell them what is going on. They don't have necessarily the direct experience. Channeling Terry here, who's usually the co-host, he comes on and likes to talk about the fact that you don't know what's out there and you don't always know the sources that people are providing. So being careful about your sources online is something that you need to do. So I can't agree with that more. There's definitely some places online where it just doesn't work. There are things that you can do that might get you along but don't work. With pricing, the big thing that gets me is pricing by your geographical area. And I don't actually mean understanding your geographical area. I mean saying that I'm going to take the 5 competitors nearest me and average their pricing out and make my price list off of that. It's one of the worst things you can do, because your setup, the kind of machines you have, the number of heads you're running is going to be different than the people around you. You can't price that way.
Yeah.
You absolutely cannot. You've got to price according to your expenses and the profit that you need to make to run your business.
Yeah. Well, and something you said earlier, you talked about how having that higher quality embroidery also commands higher prices. So that's pricing on value. And that's something that I think all embroiderers need to learn.
I have many students that have driven several of embroiderers right out of town because of their quality, and they charge higher prices than anyone.
Yeah. Well, there's certainly that time where the customer just wants it done right. And that customer is a good customer to have. That's only done from quality and from good customer service. Mm-hmm. So what do you really teach much about customer service? So what is the thing that you teach embroiderers when it comes to that?
Customer service, you've got to have the work done on time. You have got to be able to, whatever the customer wants, you have to be able to work with them. And if you can't get the work out on time, you've got to let them know right up front. You've got to be honest. And again, if you don't get the work out on time, you're already sunk. You've got to put the work out on time. You've got to have high quality work, and you've got to be good to your customers. That's all there is to it. If you can do those 3 things, you can charge whatever you want.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, it's such a simple thing, be good to your customers, be a good person, but yet we struggle with that sometimes because we just don't know. We don't have a good plan up front for setting those expectations so we can in turn be good to our customers. That's huge, Joyce. Thank you so much for sharing that. Quick question for you here, Joyce. I've got a listener here who says, I do contract work. What do I need to schedule my customers? Any insight, feedback on kind of that process of setting up your scheduling?
Well, I teach people to, as soon as their job comes in the door, to get it logged in and get it logged right into my scheduling system. I mean, I have a scheduling system that's got everything on it as far as your job is concerned. The PO number they need, when the job is due, what hoop they're going to be using, how many stitches in the design, how many colors are in the design. By the time you get through adding your job to my spreadsheet, when you edit, all you do is, you just plug in that information, and at the end of it, it tells you exactly how long that job is going to take. And if you plug in all of your work as soon as it comes in, you may not have the design for it yet, but that's okay. You can add the design just as soon as you get it, and then get it scheduled. And again, you know exactly how long the job is going to take. And if you have all of your jobs on your scheduling system, you know exactly how many hours of work you have in-house. Nice. And it makes it so much easier to plan, and you know when you can slide something in that people are wanting in a hurry, or if you can't. That's the only way you can get a job out on time and keep your schedule.
Yeah, it seems like that's something that you shouldn't have to tell people, but understanding your own capacity and then understanding what you have in the channel, you should be aware of these things at all times. And so, yeah, just adding things because you think you can do them, you can't always believe that sweat equity will put that thing to bed if you don't have the hours on your machine to get it done.
Many people, they don't know how to, they don't know how to say no. They will not say no.
Yeah.
And then they get themselves in trouble, and rush through the job. You end up with not good quality, or it's late. Not the way to do business.
Yeah. What Katie shared with us, Joyce's pricing class really helped my business. It was great. So there's some great testimonials for you, Joyce. Good stuff there. All right, Joyce. Well, we've had a great conversation, and anything that we've missed, or just, I know you've shared some great resources with us throughout this conversation, but where's the best place for people to go learn more about you, the folks that aren't familiar with you from our podcast side here?
Go to the embroiderycoach.com.
Easy. Wow.
Absolutely. Okay. Very cool.
Cool. Well, thanks so much, Joyce. We really appreciate your time and all the great information, and we'll get these links up on our webpage over at tworegularguys.com. And Joyce, have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
Well, thank you very much for coming on.
All right, Erich. Well, that was awesome. And we really appreciate everybody tuning in and checking out. We just had another comment here. Just found this podcast. Excited to tune in every week to learn more about the business.
Absolutely.
We are excited to have you along. This is our sixth, almost seventh year. So I think this is episode number 270, if I remember correct. 269, something like that. So lots of great information. We've been blessed to have tons of wonderful folks join us, like Joyce Jagger. So again, go check her out over at the embroiderycoach.com. All right, Erich. Well, let's take a quick break here and we'll regroup, come back, talk a little bit more information. 5 things on the way still here. And
absolutely.
Let's hear a quick word from Equipment Zone, if I can do 3 things at once here.
Our show today is sponsored by Equipment Zone. Go to equipmentzone.com for the Epson F2000 direct-to-garment printer. Equipment Zone is the only Epson reseller who sends a technician to every customer location for training. This is an absolutely free visit to your location. Equipment Zone is also the manufacturer of the #1 pre-treat machine in the industry, the Speed Treater TX. With no compressor and no special tanks, the Speed Treater TX is the easiest and most consistent pre-treat machine available worldwide. Go to equipmentzone.com for the Epson F2000, the Speed Treater TX, and for all your DTG inks and supplies. That's equipmentzone.com. That's equipmentzone.com.
All right, Erich. Well, very thankful for Equipment Zone and for their continued support. We'll get a little update from Terry coming up soon. Hopefully, if he comes back one of these days, who knows?
It'd be great to have him back. I mean, not that I don't like to be on and share about embroidery, especially when we're talking about good business information, stuff that we need to all learn. But yeah, I'm glad to have Terry back whenever we can. And very glad for people at Equipment Zone who have let us do this and let us produce all the great back catalog. You guys produced a lot. I jumped in on a couple times. So it's been great to see what we've been able to do, and great to have the support of people from Equipment Zone. Hope you'll see them on the trade floor today, actually. I'm over here at NBM Indianapolis, going to go and try and check out the booth over Equipment Zone and see Terry if he's down there.
Awesome. Well, Erich, I wanted to share with folks a couple of events that I've got coming up here. I am actually wrapping up my 5-part series about business plans tomorrow morning on my Small Business Saturdays. So it's over at my personal Facebook page, which is facebook.com/aaronmontgomery.info, or you can also check it out at my website, aaronmontgomery.info. Try to make that easy there. So that's every Saturday morning at 11:30 a.m. I do a quick recap. And again, number 5, we've been talking for the last 5 weeks about developing a business plan. So I'm excited to wrap that up and bring you all that information. And then I will be teaching at the Essential Small Business Strategies session on October 17th at the Sgi Expo, the day before it starts. Going to be talking about marketing your business online. And then I will be presenting another class about marketing. Weird, coming from me. Friday, October 19th at 10:30 a.m. I will be talking digital marketing, growing your business with social media and email marketing in Las Vegas, Nevada. So you can't beat that either, Las Vegas. But what about you, Eric? What's I know you're at a show, so what do you got coming up here?
Well, if people are watching live, your embroiderers watching live right now, and you are in Indianapolis already, then tomorrow I'm still teaching for the NNEP people. So NNEP has got this wraparound conference they do, the Embroidery Digitizing Conference that happens with the NBM shows lately, and I'm here in Indianapolis teaching. Already did 2 classes yesterday, went very well, and thank you to all my students who came out. Tomorrow I have stuff for brand new digitizers to talk about the software they need and to introduce them to underlay and stitch types, things like that, really basic stuff they need to know. I'll be talking about what's in a good design and what works and doesn't work in a design, and how to change a design, work with your customer to get designs right so that you can actually get them on board. And we'll be talking a little bit about repairing bad designs in embroidery. So if you're at Indianapolis right now, you're an NBM person, but you're for some reason in the morning, you're tuning in with us, and we love to have you. Come out tomorrow. You can sign up on site, and I still have those 3 classes available. But they start real early in the morning, kids. So if you're a brand new person, you'll be up early with me.
Yeah, you don't have to be in Indianapolis, Eric. That's tomorrow. So I mean, you've got at least 8 hours to.
You can jump on a plane right now.
You know what? Skip 5 things, go jump in your car, and head to Indianapolis. So.
Head right on up, because I'm here waiting for you to teach classes. And as I've told everybody, they have to kick me out for Q&A sessions. So when I get done, I will talk to anybody about anything. You catch me on the floor, you see this guy, you want to talk about embroidery, you can do that. Come get me.
Sounds good. Well, we haven't completely wiped Terry out of the podcast yet. So go check out what he's got going on over at terrycombs.com. He's got a tab, tour dates, that I chastise him about keeping up to date. So he actually does a really good job with it. It just
truthfully, if you're in the industry and you turn around, Terry Combs probably there. He goes to everything.
His laugh.
But yeah, if you want to actually find him, go to terrycombs.com, see where his tour dates are at, and check him out. Great classes about screen printing, DTG. Can't be beat. So go check him out.
Awesome. All right.
And,
well, Eric,
without further ado, let's do it. We got Aaron Montgomery here on base with 5 things. So let's get your 5 things about operating a customer-centric business.
All right, Eric. Well, we talked about with Joyce being customer-centric, being good to your customers. And so I want to share with you 5 benefits of operating your business as a customer-centric business. So number 1, less worry about long, crazy, hard to understand policies that you have to adjust, tune, try to get your employees to understand. If you have a golden rule, it will be a heck of a lot easier. Number 2, you can charge more for your products because of the exceptional service. We talked about value add. Well, great customer service, that is a value added service that you can charge more for. Number 3, you reduce your marketing costs. Customers will be happy to pay for your services, and you're not going to need to spend a ton of money on big marketing campaigns just to get them to show up on your door. They're going to do that on their own. Number 4 kind of goes a little bit along with number 3, but the salespeople become free. Your customers become your salespeople. So there's no more outside sales folks dropping off donuts. You just do right by your customers and let word of mouth be your sales tool. And number 5, and to me, the most important thing, is you are allowing your employees to be heroes, not villains, to the people they're interacting with. Therefore, they're going to be happier. You're going to be happier. Everybody's life's going to be happier. So let's just be happier. How about that?
Yeah, it's one of those things that I've said about 1,000,000 times, and I'm always surprised I have to say it, but you have to actually care about your customer. And I mean, take that risk, care about what they're doing in their business, and you get a long way from that. And that's that extra value you can charge for.
Nice. All right, Eric. Well, a couple of quick comments here that I wanted to share. Susan said, this was a great podcast, and Joyce is absolutely the best with helping you learn embroidery and setting up your systems to succeed. So great stuff there. Thanks for your time.
Awesome.
And I'm not even going to try the name, because that is, people that know me know that I am the butcher of all names, big and small. So it says, thanks you guys for having Joyce among us. This listener was tuning in from France. So
That's awesome.
I'm not sure what time it is over there in France right now. I think it's about 8 hours difference from where we're at right now. So here.
Well, thank you very much for tuning in, and we always have to thank Joyce for having people on. And there's Joyce. Thank you for the two regular guys for having me on today. Absolutely, thank you for being on, Joyce, and bringing to people's minds, to the top of their minds, that business is important and pricing is important, and it's not just process, even though the process itself is the center of what we're doing.
Nice. Well, Erich, I wanted to share with folks some of the upcoming trade shows as well here, just to make sure everybody knows we're kind of coming towards the close of 2018. So unfortunately, I'm going to, I hate that I'm doing this, but I am going to talk a little bit about 2019 stuff coming up here too. So Erich, as you mentioned, you are at NBM Indianapolis right now, so there's still another day left of that. It started yesterday, goes till tomorrow, Saturday the 15th. Not too far from here, ISS Fort Worth in Texas is happening September 27th through the 29th. That Friday of the show, I'm actually heading out there, and we're going to be doing our podcast live from the Impressions booth at ISS Fort Worth. So there's a chance Terry and I might have a beer in our hand for that show, and that always makes it more fun. So here we go. It's 5:47 p.m. in France right now. So
thank you for joining us on the evening shift.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. In fact, Erich, you'll get a kick out of this. I was kind of having a Facebook Messenger chat with Brendan from Australia there, and
absolutely.
We get him on the podcast and I stole from your digitizing class from Dax last year. Told him we need to do a night shift, right?
Yeah, right. we do. I know I've got the Carmodys. I'm going to talk to them as well from Australia. For I was going to do an extra shift kind of thing for us at some point, but it is hard to schedule. I know from having worked for an Australian company for a while that can be hard to get your scheduling right.
Nice. All right, Erich. Yeah. Well, the next upcoming event would be the Sgi Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's happening October 18th through the 20th. Must attend event. We've talked about this before on the show, but if you've not been to an SGIA yet, you have to go just to see the enormity, the entirety of really what's going on. You think that we're in this little small home business kind of industry, and yes, there is certainly a lot of that, but we're also a part of this massive industry too. And they're all great people. It doesn't matter what size business they are. So it's always great to get to SGIA. NBM is going to close out the year with their Charlotte, North Carolina show, November 2nd through the 3rd. And are you ready for it, Erich? 2019?
Not ready, but I guess we're going to get there, aren't we?
We are. From what I can tell, this is opening the year. This is the earliest show I could find. ASI starts off Orlando, January 3rd through the 5th. So you're coming off your New Year's hangover and ready to dive right into learning there in ASI Orlando. And then PPAI Expo follows up. I believe that's in Las Vegas, January 13th through the 17th. Actually, I think the expo floor is a little tighter than that, but they've got classes and stuff like that. And then the big one, ISS Long Beach, the big kickoff of the year each year is January 18th through the 20th.
Yeah, I'm already sweating. I am presenting 3 sessions at ISS Long Beach, so I can feel that right now.
Yeah. We think 2019 is a long ways away, but the holidays hit, and it happens fast.
It happens fast. So yeah, I'm already planning right now.
Yeah. And then newly announced NBM Phoenix is happening February 1st through the 2nd. So I can't think of another show for a long time that's actually been in Phoenix. So I'm excited to see, those of you that know me, my hometown is Phoenix. My typical co-host, he may be cut from the show, we don't know yet, but Terry Combs actually lives in Phoenix. So my oldest son lives in Phoenix, and near and dear to my heart. My brother lives in Phoenix, the family. Anyhow, all right.
That's something I have to go out to. I think I'm going to have to come join you guys on that one, because being here, I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico, for those you don't know. So at least it's a fairly short drive out to Phoenix. And honestly, it's surprising how much of the decorating world is in Phoenix. Every other person you meet, you got Marshall, you got JB Sell. There's a ton of people out there in Phoenix. So yeah, it's going to be even if the people aren't presenting, they're going to be around, and there's going to be a lot of good talking going around that NBM show.
Maybe we need to get a Winnebago or something, Eric, and just start with, maybe I don't know, Orlando may be too far for that, but maybe we start in Vegas, spend a little time there, head over to Long Beach, then we go to Phoenix, then we're going to go to San Diego for ThreadX. I mean,
it sounds like an awful lot, but yeah, it'd be cool to do. I wonder who could make us a tour shirt for that. I don't know.
Amazon merch?
Yeah,
outside. All right.
There's Marion. See you at Long Beach. I will see you, Marion, at Long Beach. I'm going to see a lot of people at Long Beach, and I can't wait. ISS Atlantic City. It's possibly on. Jim asked us for the people who are listening on audio. Jim Kaziga said, "Eric, are you coming to ISS Atlantic City?" It's in the possibility right now. As people know who are in the business, they send out your contracts, you sign things up, and you get yourself planned. It is a good possibility I'll be in Atlantic City. We'll see what's going on with that.
Nice. Christine mentioned that Creativations, and I knew about this. I used to announce this show, is in Phoenix every January. So it's crafting and paper crafts and some stuff like that. But it's pretty close to our industry. So I've been meaning to get to that, but it's always kind of right on top of ISS Long Beach. So it's been hard to try to get to that. But good point, Christine. Thank you for sharing that. All right, Eric. Well, I think we've done it. I think we've come to the close of another show. I want to thank Joyce for joining us, and make sure you check her out at theembroiderycoach.com. Again, theembroiderycoach.com. We'll get that up in our show notes. And again, thanks to Joyce for joining us.
Absolutely. And we'd also like to thank our sponsors, the Specialty Graphics Imaging Association, better known as SGIA, and Equipment Zone. We always appreciate your support.
Nice. Well, Eric, next week's show, we're going to be talking with Pete Jr. from New Era Apparel. Those of you that remember Pete from last year's, he was on the show last year, Reggie Award winner for Best Guest. So get ready to hold on to your seats. Pete is ball of fire. I've got my finger on the bleep button, and but just tons of amazing energy. I mean, I've met very few people that have the kind of energy that Pete has, and that energy is contagious. I remember after last time we talked, I was ready to go run through a brick wall as soon as we were done. So,
and let me tell you, folks, if you're not checking out Pete Jr. from New Era on Facebook right now, he's doing Facebook Lives pretty frequently. If you're a salty old screen printer, as many of them are, who is ready to have some real talk about inks and printing and everything else, you have to catch one of his live streams. So, Pete, if you're out there, I've been catching the live stream as an embroiderer. I might not be in your world, man, but sometimes I just like to visit.
It's a great place. His Instagram feed is pretty awesome too. So, but it's not for the faint of heart sommes. So
no.
We'll caveat next week.
Strong language bothers you. You might want to back a little bit away.
Yeah, he is fantastic. We're
He's a good guy.
Painting a pretty crazy picture of him, but
but that's the thing, real information delivered honestly.
All right, Eric, well, thanks everybody for joining us. We appreciate everybody tuning in, all the new listeners. We can't wait to have you on board for future shows, and again, thanks to Joyce. Until next week, I am Aaron Montgomery. He is Erich Campbell. Terry Combs is somewhere, so we will catch you next week.
Thanks for coming in, folks.
Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.